Adi Shankara was an Indian philosopher and theologian who expounded the doctrine of Advaita Vedanta. He renounced the worldly pleasures at a very young age. Shankaracharya amalgamated the ideologies of ancient Advaita Vedanta and also explained the basic ideas of Upanishads. He advocated the oldest concept of Hinduism, which explains the unification of the soul, atman, with the supreme soul, Nirguna Brahman. Though he is best known for popularizing Advaita Vedanta, one of Shankaracharya's most important works is his efforts to synthesize the 6 sub-sects known as Shanmata. Shanmata, which literally translates to 6 religions, is the worship of 6 supreme deities. Shankaracharya explained the existence of one supreme being, Brahman, and that the 6 supreme deities are part of one divine power. He also founded Dashanami Sampradaya, which talks about leading a monastic life. While Shankaracharya was a firm believer in ancient Hinduism, he condemned the Mimamsa school of Hinduism, which was purely based on ritual practices. Throughout the course of his journey, Shankaracharya discussed his ideas with various other philosophers and fine-tuned his own teachings from time to time. Shankaracharya founded 4 monasteries, mathas, that continue to spread his teachings. Shankara, as he was known before becoming a great teacher, was born into a poor Brahmin family at Kaladi, present-day Kerala, India. His parents, Sivaguru and Aryamba, offered their prayers to Lord Shiva, requesting the deity to bless them with a child. Their prayers were soon answered in the form of a baby boy. A few theories suggest that Aryamba had a dream in which Lord Shiva himself promised her that he would be taking birth as her child. Hence, many consider Shankara as a reincarnation of Shiva. Shankara was educated by his mother as he lost his father when he was just 7. Aryamba played a key role in teaching Vedas and Upanishads to a young Shankara. There is a lot of confusion regarding the birth date of Shankara, as different sources have proposed several different dates. The most accepted birth date places him as a scholar from the first half of the 8th century CE. Throughout the course of his early life, Shankara astounded many with his knowledge intelligence. He started writing his own analysis of the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and the Bhagavad Gita at a young age. Right from his childhood, he was keen on becoming a monk. Though his idea of becoming a monk was opposed by his mother, Shankara knew exactly what he had to do. Once, he accompanied his mother to a nearby river and took a plunge into the river. Suddenly, a crocodile appeared from beneath the river and caught hold of his leg. Shankara then cried out to his mother, saying that a crocodile was pulling him into the river. When his mother felt helpless, Shankara urged her to allow him to die as a monk. As soon as Aryamba gave her consent, the crocodile spared Shankara's life and went back into the river. Shankara was miraculously unharmed and went on to become a monk, as his mother had already given him the permission to do so. He then went in search of a guru, and according to a few ancient scripts, a young Shankara walked at least 2000 kilometers before meeting Govinda Bhagavatpada. Under Govinda Bhagavatpada's guidance, Shankara studied Gaudapadya Karika, Brahmasutra, Vedas, and Upanishads. To his teacher's amazement, Shankara was able to master almost all the ancient scripts in a short time. He even started writing commentaries on major religious scripts. Once he had a clear understanding of the ancient Hindu scripts, he started traveling across India, propagating Advaita Vedanta and Dashanami Sampradaya. During the course of his journey, Shankara's teachings were challenged by many philosophers and thinkers. He was even involved in a number of debates pertaining to Hinduism and its beliefs, but Shankara managed to astound all his doubters with his intelligence and clarity. He then went about propagating his ideas and was soon accepted as a guru by many. Before he was 8, as a young brahmachari, the young Shankara went to a house to beg for his daily food. The hostess was a kind but very poor lady. All she could give him was a small amalaki gooseberry fruit. Shankara was deeply touched by the sincerity of this poor lady, and he invoked goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth, by singing spontaneously the Kanakadara Stotra. The legend has it that the goddess showered golden amalaki fruits into the house. Shankara's mother used to go a long way every day to take her bath in the Purna river. One day, the young Shankara found her lying unconscious due to exhaustion. He prayed to the Lord, and the next morning, the river started flowing by the side of his house. During the rainy season, the river Narmada was in spate. The floodwaters rose and were about to enter the cave in which his guru was sitting, deeply immersed in samadhi. His disciples did not dare to disturb him, though his life was in danger. Then Shankaracharya placed his kamandalu, water pot, at the entrance of the cave, saying that it would absorb all the waters of the flood. His words came true. The floodwaters could not disturb his guru's meditation. Guru Govindapada blessed him, saying, "Just as you contain the floodwaters in your kamandalu, you should write commentaries containing the essence of the Vedantic scriptures. By this work, you will gain eternal glory." When Shankaracharya was somewhere in North India when he came to know of his mother's impending death. By using his yogic powers, traveled through the air to reach her quickly. At her request, he granted her divine visions. When he tried to arrange the cremation of his mother's body, his relatives refused to help him on the grounds that as a sannyasi, he was not permitted to perform funeral rites. Normally, this would have been a serious setback, as a cremation involves rituals which would require physical assistance by a few people. So Shankaracharya performed a miracle. He made a funeral pyre out of plantain stalks. After placing the body on the pyre, he took some water and after chanting a few mantras, he sprinkled the water on the pyre. Immediately, the pyre caught fire. Shankara came to be known as Shankaracharya among his disciples. Though he had several disciples, 4 of them would go on to achieve great heights to be later considered as Shankaracharya's main disciples. They were also entrusted with the responsibility of heading the 4 monasteries, mathas, founded by Shankaracharya. First disciple was Padmapada. Padmapada was born Sanandana and later went on to become one of the most ardent followers of Adi Shankaracharya. According to the ancient texts, Sanandana was once drying his master's clothes on the banks of Ganges. When Shankaracharya asked for his clothes from the other side of the river, Sanandana started crossing the mighty Ganges, holding his master's clothes close to his chest. To the amazement of the onlookers, many lotuses emerged from the river and supported Sanandana's weight, saving him from drowning. After crossing the river, Sanandana handed the clothes over to Shankaracharya, who then bestowed him with the name Padmapada, which literally means the one with lotus feet. Padmapada founded Thekamatham, a monastery in Thrissur, Kerala. Second disciple was Totakacharya. Totakacharya was born Giri and became a disciple of Adi Shankaracharya at a very young age. Giri was considered a fool by Shankaracharya's other disciples. He was hardly interested in learning but was completely devoted to his master. Once, when Shankaracharya held on to his teachings as he waited patiently for Giri to join the rest of his disciples, Padmapada urged his master to go ahead as he thought teaching anything to Giri was a sheer waste of time. Shankaracharya then decided to reward Giri for his devotion and mentally transferred all his knowledge to Giri. Giri then went on to compose a poem named Totakashtakam and came to be known as Totakacharya. Totakacharya founded a monastery named Vadake Modam in Thrissur. Third disciple, Hasta Malaka. When Shankaracharya visited a village near Kolur, Karnataka, a Brahmin named Prabhakara came forward along with his son to meet him. Prabhakara told him that his son is a lunatic and that he is good for nothing. Shankaracharya looked at his son and asked him a few questions. The boy then replied in verses which explained Advaita philosophy. Amazed by his knowledge, Shankaracharya named him Hasta Malaka and accepted him as his disciple. Hasta Malaka founded Idayil Matham in Thrissur. Fourth disciple was Sureshvara. Sureshvara was born Mandana Misra and was leading the life of an average householder. Misra was a brilliant exponent of Karma Mimamsa and was considered Shankaracharya's contemporary. When Shankaracharya finally met the famous Mandana Misra, he challenged him to a debate. After a furious debate which went on for months, Mandana Misra finally accepted defeat and agreed to become Shankaracharya's disciple. He came to be known as Sureshvara and founded Naduvil Matham in Thrissur. Adi Shankaracharya's philosophy was simple and straightforward. He advocated the existence of the soul and the supreme soul. He believed that the supreme soul alone is real and unchanging, while the soul is a changing entity, and that it does not have absolute existence. Adi Shankaracharya became a key figure in restoring belief in the Vedas and Upanishads. Smartism, a subsect of Hinduism, was formed based on his teachings. He is also credited with making Hindus understand the existence of one supreme being. He explained that all other deities are just different forms of the supreme being. The monasteries founded by Shankaracharya had a great influence in reforming Hinduism. Mathas, founded by Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya founded 4 monasteries, mathas, one each at the 4 cardinal points in India. Here are the 4 mathas founded by Shankaracharya. Sringeri Sharada Pitam. This was the first monastery founded by Adi Shankaracharya. It is located at the southern part of India, along the banks of Tunga. Sureshwara was made the head of this matha as Shankaracharya moved on to establish other mathas. Sringeri Sharada Pitam advocates Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, and was formed on the basis of Yajur Veda. Dvaraka Pitam is located in the western part of India. Hasta Malaka, who came to be known as Hastamalakacharya, was made the head of this matha. Dvarakapita advocates Tattvamasi, that thou art, and was formed on the basis of Samaveda. Jyotirmata Pitam. This monastery is located in the northern part of India. Totakacharya was made the head of this matha, which advocates Ayamatma Brahma. This Atman is Brahman. Jyotirmata Pitam was formed on the basis of Atharva Veda. Govardhana Mata. Govardhana Mata is located at the eastern part of India. The Mata is a part of the famous Jagannath temple. Padmapada was made the head of this monastery, which advocates Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness is Brahman. It was formed on the basis of Rig Veda. At the age of 32, Adi Shankaracharya retired to the Himalayas and is believed to have entered a cave near Kedarnath. He was never seen again, and the cave that he entered is considered as his final resting place.